In my view, it's time to bring back the death penalty. I can remember the first time I came into prominence when I said I would bring back the death penalty and as an option for child murderers and castration for paedophiles, where there is no question of guilt. In Axel Rudakubana's case, there is no question of any doubt. Rudakubana got 52 years for murdering 3 children in cold blood and attempted murder on those who survived. He actually went out of his way with murder in mind. He went out of his way to kill children in a cold-blooded, planned attack. I'm sick of this mamby-pamby, oh, poor criminal approach. Criminals who we know have done the crime being given lenient sentences, and in this case, a murderer of defenceless children seen in the act, filmed in the act, and stopped in the act, where there is no reasonable doubt that the death penalty should be on the table. The common arguments are, we are no better than the murderer if we take a life. Well, I'm OK with that. I don't think that's true. I would even go as far as to say that the death penalty is actually the kindest option. Rather than making them suffer in prison, which there is no guarantee that they will suffer in prison, I would like to see people like this executed to put everyone out of their misery. I'm more concerned about the suffering of the victims that they endured and the suffering of the victims' families. Why should they have to live with the knowledge that their child is dead whilst Rudakubana continues to live? It is neither here nor there to me whether Axel actually suffers. Frankly, I'm not interested in his feelings. I just want him off the planet so people, and in particular children, can be safe. And why should those already incarcerated be tasked with the job of punishing him, which I suspect they will? There's an argument that if you get the wrong person, well, it wouldn't apply in this case, because there is no question of doubt. And, of course, in Rudakubana's case, you know he did it. He was caught and stopped in the act. The poor families in the courtroom had to endure watching his act. He was recorded doing it. There is no reasonable doubt in this case. We know he did it. And comparisons to miscarriages of justice, like in the case of the Birmingham 6 and the Guildford 4, well, that would not apply. Some people say there is no proof that it works as a punishment. I ask, how do they know that? Also, it depends how you determine whether something has worked or not. In my view, it works because an evil, murderous thug has been taken off the planet. Why should the British taxpayer spend 2.6 million or so to keep a murderous child-killing thug in prison when he's useless to us as a society? Rudakubana relished the killings and wished that he'd killed the whole class. He said he was glad that he did it. What kind of a human being is that? I can see no reason why Rudakubana should not be executed. Well, joining me now is political commentator Matthew Stadlen. Matthew, well, those are my views. What are yours?
My view is that we shouldn't kill people. And I've seen this week, because this is such a particularly heinous and egregious case, and a case that you, I, and every single person watching, I hope, will agree has shocked us and chilled us to the core. Some people have said on social media that it's made them question their view on the death penalty.
Has it made you question yours?
No. And this is, in a sense, I think it's a question, it's a value judgment, this. It's almost like if I were to say to you, I'm Christian, or I'm Muslim, or I'm Jewish, it'd be difficult for you to argue me out of that. It's a view I hold, and I don't think human beings should, in the context of our justice system, be responding to unimaginable cruelty with a form of physical cruelty ourselves. Doesn't mean that I think that the crime isn't as appalling as you think it is. I'm a parent, and my focus would be, if I were in government, on doing absolutely everything I could do to make sure, or to do the very best that we could do to make sure that it won't happen again.
So is Keir Starmer right then not to apply a whole life sentence to him because he's about 9 days short of his 18th?
We will require a change of the law.
Do you think that...
And my understanding of the Prime Minister's position is that he's not going to bring in a change to the law because that would flout international law. So I can understand that.
But do you think that it's... I mean, some things you can flout in terms of international law. Other countries do it. On a case of this is murder. This is somebody who's managed to evade... In fact, Rudakubana tried to plead not guilty, which, again, is taking the mickey out of the law.
I don't think that monster will ever see life outside of a prison.
But why should we pay for him?
I don't think it would.
Why?
Well, you don't think we should pay for him.
Why should
I think we should pay for him
Why?
because I don't think that we should take life in response to other people taking life.
But what about
As I say,
the
it's a value judgment. It's one I hold to very strongly. I agree that, where there's, for example, CCTV footage...
Well, he was caught on CCTV.
That there are crimes these days that there is not just no reasonable doubt, there is no doubt at all that someone killed someone, OK? So I accept that argument doesn't work in a case like this. So that's why I say it comes back to a value judgment. There are other arguments that you put out there, for example, the deterrent. My understanding is that the death penalty isn't actually a deterrent.
Well, that's
let me just quickly answer your point, because you've established your point. Let me quickly respond.
Respond to that.
And if you look at countries, I think, that have abolished the death penalty, crime hasn't gone up as a consequence of that. It might even have gone down. Murder, I'm talking about. Take Canada as an example.
How do you know that? Because you can't really work that out, can you? Because you don't know what would have happened had that not been there. So you
it's
don't know.
It's not a perfect science. You're right.
Exactly. It's not a perfect science. And also there are other
but
variables.
It's data-led.
Yeah. So if let's take somewhere like Qatar, where people
don't want to live in Qatar. I can tell you.
Let's just take somewhere like Qatar. You don't have to want to live there, but there is very little crime there. You know why? Because when there is a punishment, people are properly punished. Why do you think a load of British fans went off for the Football World Cup? Usually there's a bit of a debacle and there's a scuffle here and a scuffle. Guess what? They adhered to the law. Okay. There were very few arrests. They knew that things like they'd be arrested if they drank in the streets or whatever it was. They had designated areas. They followed the rules because the punishment was real. And there's a death penalty there. It works.
Qatar is a tiny country, and
so are we.
We've got 65, 70 million people geographically, but in terms of population, so it's very difficult to project one country's experience on another. But let me just make the point.
We do it all the time.
Let me just make the point. I don't want to live in Dubai. I don't want to live in Qatar. I don't want to live in Saudi Arabia, where they have barbaric punishments. I don't want to live in Iran, where they stone women to death.
We're not talking about stoning women to death.
I know, but there's vicious and barbaric punishments in those countries. I would prefer to live in a country where and we're widening this out now from the horrific crime that we've been talking about to more general crime, aren't we? So I would prefer to live in a city where I don't get my mobile phone plucked out of my hand from behind by someone's coming quickly on a motorbike, dressed in black with a mask. But I would rather that than live in a country where that bloke gets his hand chopped off for nicking my phone. So in other words, there is a price you pay for living in a system that is civilised.
Okay. What year was the death penalty finally properly abolished in this year?
I think it was in the 1960s, wasn't it?
No, it was 1998. See, you were living...
Well, that was for treason, right?
OK, so you've been living in a country all that time. Hang on. You said you don't want to live in a country where there's death penalty. It was there until...
Well, I'm glad it's abolished.
It was there until 1998.
And it wasn't used. It hasn't been used since the 60s or 70s.
So if it's available, you don't have to use it, but it needs to be available for people like this, because I believe it works as a deterrent.
You would kill this guy yourself.
I would, yes.
You would, yeah.
Would,
and I'm very glad. I'm very glad we don't live in a society where television presenters aren't allowed to kill people themselves.
Let me finish. If it was a law where that person could be executed, then yes, but I wouldn't kill them myself.
No, obviously not now, you wouldn't,
well, you just said that...
You wouldn't break the law.
You just said the ridiculous thing about television presenters. I'm not a television presenter, I'm a broadcasting journalist. Just to be clear. No, I'm a broadcasting journalist. They're very different.
Because these are serious issues.
Let me finish, because I need to get to the point here. My point of this is, listen, you may think that it's perfectly unreasonable to have a death penalty. I happen to think...
A lot of people support it. A lot of people support it. I don't.
I think it is perfectly reasonable. And as a TV presenter, as you class me, I have no problem if that were the law, being the one who would have to execute them, especially if it was someone like...
Well, they're fun. Am I allowed to respond now?
Well, when I finished, you can, yes, and I'll let you know when that is. But
thank you, Nana, thank you.
That's good, I'm glad you understand. But
everyone needs a Nana.
Yes, they do. But if that was the law, and I was allowed to be the person I would have no problem pressing the button whatsoever, and I wouldn't even care how it was done. People like that need to be taken off.
I think I don't want to. I mean, at least you'd be prepared to do what you'd ask other people to do. But I think that says something about you and your tolerance of violence that I don't share.
I'm very
cautious. It's violence. It's not peaceful. You're interrupting me now.
No, well, I can. I'm allowed to because it's my show. It's very peaceful if he has a lethal injection or whatever it is. But it won't. But it's about.
I'm sorry.
It's about
I'm
eradicating
sorry.
danger.
Let's just be clear about what the death penalty is, okay? The death penalty is a cruel thing. Not only is it a human being taking someone else's life, it is also that person knowing that they are going to be killed.
Oh, dear.
And it is also you are capable of feeling extreme pain, as we know from American executions. Now, a lot of people, well, fine, so let's be clear. Right, let's be clear where we are. You have a very different opinion to me. Some people, a lot of people, I suspect, watching will agree with you that you're totally entitled to that.
Of course.
For my part, I don't believe that we should respond even to this sort of barbarism with cruelty of our own. And I think it makes us civilised that we don't. I think we are superior in that way to America, by the way, not just to Saudi Arabia and not just to Qatar, little as I'd like to live in those countries.
Until it was somebody perhaps from your own family.
No, I promise you. In the heat of the moment.
Until it was somebody.
No, I might feel it in the heat of the moment. By the way, if someone tried to attack me or my family, I would use whatever force it takes in the heat of the moment to prevent the crime, not after the crime, not as part of the judicial process. There's a difference. There's a key difference. And by the way, I do believe in war in certain circumstances. I do believe in self-defence, but I do not believe in cold-blooded murder, even for the most egregious, horrific and evil acts such as this country has had blemished on it in July of last year.
You're a hypocrite. Because if it was a member of your family or anything like that, I think death wouldn't even be good enough.
Sorry, you're putting words into my mouth.
Finish.
No. And by the way, I don't think we should put justice. No, you've just put words into my mouth. I don't think we should put justice in the hands of the victims, whether that's me and my family, heaven forbid, or anyone else. We have a system, and it has to be dispassionate justice.
All right, listen,
and this man should serve his life behind bars, but we shouldn't kill him.
I have no problem with the death penalty being applied. And I actually think, as I said, it is kinder to take these people off the planet.
So you want to be kind to this man now?
This is kinder.
So you want to be kind to him?
This is kinder.
Sorry, you want to be kind to him?
Let me finish. Be quiet, Matthew. Be quiet. This is kinder than allowing this person to live, because I don't suspect his life will be any good in prison at all. But the bottom line is, I don't want to pay for him.
Was our responsibility?
I don't want to pay for him.
It's a confused argument.
No, don't tell me. Listen,
but it's confused.
You're entitled to your opinion. There is no way, there's no confusion. Let me be very, very clear.
Total confusion.
Let me be very clear to you, Matthew.
Do you want to be kind to him, or do you want to be cruel to him? Which?
I've already said.
Which is it?
Oh, like I said, I don't care whether he is. I don't care about his feelings. In my view, it is actually kinder to take him off the planet than leave him on there.
So you do care, then?
No, I don't care, but I think...
Kindness is about caring.
I think it's kind... No,
this man should be in prison, he should stay there, and we shouldn't kill him.
I think we should kill him.
But I understand lots of people disagree with me.
No.
Lots of people disagree with me, and as I said at the beginning of this is such an appalling case that people who are maybe lifelong opponents to the death penalty, like me, have said that this case is making them question that. It hasn't made me question that. I think we have to stand true to our principles. This man should be punished, but we shouldn't kill him. I think we should kill him, and I think it's the kindest option for him in particular, even though I don't care about his feelings. And I don't think it's a confused argument at all. I think it's the right argument, and I'm glad we're all talking about it, thank goodness. Because the last time I spoke about it, I was literally ostracised and said, oh, that's going to be so awful. And it's a kinder option, and I'm not trying to be kind to him at all, but I'm thinking about the family. This is why the argument is not confusing, because it's kinder for the family, and those are the people I care about.